pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Seeing we have no one in the live audience, welcome to those viewing at home. Just like to start this meeting with a few comments. Wanted to begin, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Foti on his election to the Board of Selectmen 2 weeks ago. Look forward to working with you, Joe.
Thank you, appreciate it.
I also, Mr. O'Leary's not here as of yet, but he will be arriving. I also would like to congratulate Mr. O'Leary on his re-election to the board. I believe this board will work cooperatively, and we will be productive over the next year, setting priorities and moving the town forward. And I would be remiss if I didn't have this next comment before we start our meeting, and to thank the man to my right for 7 years of leading this board as chairman. He's no longer sitting in this position because he chose not to sit here any longer. I thank him for his tireless work on behalf of our community as chairman and now as vice chair. I have some large shoes to fill, so I'm very happy that he'll be the vice chair, as he will, I know, wholeheartedly support me and mentor me in my first go as being chair of this board. And I'm very much looking forward to that assistance, Bob, and I thank you.
Thank you.
Now I think we can move on to item number 2 on the agenda, minutes, April 30th, 2012. And then Mr. Prisco is going to handle those minutes, as Mr. Foti was not yet a member of the board at those particular meetings. I think I have to, someone has to move to appoint Mr. Prisco as the temporary clerk.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Mr. Chairman, I move to approve April 30th, 2012 budget hearing minutes as written.
Second?
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain. So it's 3, 1 abstention, and 1 absent. May 7th, 2012. Michael?
Yes, sir, 1 second. Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the May 7th, 2012 regular session minutes as written.
Second?
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Aye.
4 in favor, 1 abstention. Mr. O'Leary's joined us, so I'll just reiterate my earlier comments before we go forward, and congratulate you, Mr. O'Leary, on your re-election to the board, and I look forward to working with you for another year. So-
More than a year, I hope.
Well, at least
Look
2.
forward to working
I
with
got-
you.
At least 2 I have.
Your leadership, looking forward to it. Looking forward
Thank
to
you.
working with Mr. Foti, too.
May 10th?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve May 10th, 2012 regular session minutes as written.
Second?
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
4 in favor, 1 abstention. Anyone here for public comment? Excellent, moving right along. Item 4, well, we'll have to wait until 6:30. So, I think we can we can take item 8. And, before we get to item 8, we have a motion to, let's go back to Mr. Foti as the clerk of the board.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Fode, it's the most thankless position on the board, I think, but I think you'll serve well in that position.
I appreciate it. I don't know how to take that, but I appreciate it.
Big shoes to fill there. Michael did a great job for a couple of years here.
If no one wouldn't mind, I'd like to take item 8, just have a brief discussion on liaison assignments. And what I would roll out as my particular plan and how to deal with that. My plan is to send out a spreadsheet to everyone. It'll have the current assignments, and they'll also have a column for each one of you to check off. I believe there's close to 50 liaison assignments in total. So my thought was if you could check off the 15 ones that you would most likely would enjoy serving on, and then from there I'll cull that together. And in our meeting, probably the meeting after town meeting, I will come back to the board with liaison assignments. Anyone has any issue with that, or any thoughts? Okay. Thought that was a quick one to handle. Greg, where would you like to go from here?
You can do my report if you'd like.
Sure.
First of all, welcome, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Selectman Fode.
Thank you.
Nice
you.
to see both of you here.
Appreciate it.
Just, it's not on my list, but I received this late in the afternoon, was a copy of the engineering summary that was done on the Smith property bridges. This is the two bridges that are owned by the town, accessing the Smith property, which is located off of Elm Street. And I have not had an opportunity to review it in detail, but the summary is the engineering study looked at 3 different options. The first was repairing the existing 2 bridges, and the cost of that would be $253,600. The second item would be to replace the bridges as they exist right now, which is a single 1-lane road. The cost of that is $234,400. And the other is to construct a 2-lane bridge and roadway to access the site is $664,300. The result of this is really the most feasible option is to replace the bridges in their entirety, because the cost of repair is equal to the cost of simply going ahead and purchasing, acquiring, and installing pre-modular bridges to be put in that location. What we'll do is look at this in terms of what our capital projects are for the October town meeting, consider it and present it at that time in terms of whether the board wishes to proceed with the project.
Mr. Delaney? Mr. Chair?
Mr. Messeri?
Greg, we have some money in an account.
We do.
Do you know what the balance is?
About $180,000.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Prisco?
Yep. I probably just forgot. Did we ask for this study?
I can't remember if the board asked for it, but it's one of the things that we wanted to do is we wanted to evaluate the structural soundness of those bridges in terms of what our costs would be going down the road. And the DPW performed this study at my request, and certainly we wanted to understand what our costs would be if we went forward with the project.
And the reason we're doing the study is because we want to gain access to the property that we
Correct.
bought. Okay, and
Correct.
did we already decide, or did LUC already decide on what they're gonna do with the
No.
property? Is this just access to get into open space?
Right, as you remember, we had a vote at town meeting giving us legal right to those bridges.
Right,
Those bridges were in damaged condition.
right.
For Selectman Fode's information, they were in damaged condition. So we had an evaluation done because the bridges that were put in were really not done with any type of, engineering detail or engineering work that was associated. So we had an evaluation done associated with what the cost would be to replace that, and that's what this report is. So I'll put it on the Dropbox again. I had not had an opportunity to review it for today's meeting, but I think before the town goes forward and establishes any type of direction, we certainly want to know what the costs are going to be.
Greg, what was the cost of to replace again?
$234,400,
Thank you.
and that's replacing it with a 1-lane bridge as exists right now.
Replace.
Greg, I'm sorry, the 253 was for?
253 was to repair the existing wood structures that are there right now. 234,400 is the replacement of those with new structures, single lane, and then constructing 2-lane bridges and roadway $664,300.
Thank you.
The roadway would be, that's to get access just over the bridge, over the two bridges. I would assume. Not all, I mean, don't know where you're going into anyway, but.
Yeah, it's, right now, there's a one-lane cart path that exists between the two bridges. So this would be to expand it out to 2 lanes in each direction.
Right out to 62.
Correct. Yep, right out to 62.
Greg, you may have said it's the 180 that's in an account, where is it
We
sitting?
received a grant through the Department of Housing and Community Development back in 2007 through the efforts of Representative Brad Jones. And the money is for the improvement of this property. So it's not specific to the bridges, it's not specific to any particular portion of the property, but it's at the discretion of the board and the town in terms of how those monies would be spent.
Just
Mr.
one more thing
Prisco,
quickly.
sure.
Can we change the name of this property or whatever? Can we just give it a new name?
I've made the request to the LUC to look into that.
Yeah, probably the way, where it should come from.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the, and I'll put this in the Dropbox for the board members to review. Again, it wouldn't come up at the earliest until October.
Thank you.
Okay.
You have other items?
Yes, I do. If you could refer to my report, which is in the supplemental packet. It's the yellow sheets. Give everyone an opportunity to find that. I'm pleased to report that we completed our bond rating review in association with the sale of general obligation bonds for the high school, middle school project. Moody's came in. As you know, we did a presentation with Liz and Mary Ann, who are both present this evening, our finance director and treasurer. And as a result of that presentation and the review by Moody's, our AA2 bond rating was reaffirmed, and that was our goal, was to have our bond rating reaffirmed. And I want to thank the 2 women that are here in the audience this evening for their expert job in terms of seeing us through that presentation. And the board is aware of the fact that Moody's did come back. The reasons, and you have a copy of Moody's report right here, and I'm not going to read it, but I'm going to summarize that the strengths that they outlined for the town were its tax base, above average income levels, and its willingness to consider Proposition 2.5 overrides and debt exclusions. Certainly good news. They address a number of other areas that are in there, and we'll post the report on our website so the public is aware of it. But in terms of what the timing is that is associated with the bonds for the high school project, the board will be asked to approve the bid award and execute the notes at its June 4th meeting, so that's right before the annual town meeting. We will know at that time what the results of our bids are. At this time, we do not know because it has not yet come in. The money for the project will be available in mid-June. Remember, this is a $50 million project, $50 million borrowing, $50 million now, $10 million down the road. We've also included within that $1.41 million of bond anticipation notes that are due this coming September. They are separate notes, doesn't taint the waters at all, just means that we're efficient in terms of not having to go back out and borrow again in another 3 months. And it was a recommendation of our fiscal advisor and bond counsel to proceed in this direction, and I wholeheartedly endorse that. One of the things that we were anticipating with this bid that will be coming in is the realization of monies in something called bond premiums. I don't want to get too much into detail what a bond premium is, but the bond premium is money that is paid to us in a lump sum when the bonds are sold. So we'll receive that money in this fiscal year. And it represents an amount that's paid by these borrowers between what they are able to sell those bonds for versus the interest rate that we are charged. That bond premium potentially is a significant amount of money. And based upon my review and comments from the board members, I would suggest that that money be set aside and dedicated as a contingency for the high school, middle school project.
Can I just clarify that a little bit?
Sure.
I guess in talking to the board members, I guess contingency is probably not the right word. It probably should be used to reduce the amount of the secondary borrowing.
Then that will require an action of town meeting to set up that authority. Because right now it's considered to be general revenue, and in the absence of special legislation, that's what we'd have to do.
It probably shouldn't be. I think should be earmarked and dedicated to the school project. And contingencies doesn't make sense because discussions, the town has approved a $108 million and change